Okay guys, welcome to the inside of the all-new Subaru Impreza RS. We're going to take this thing on a drive, and if you haven't checked out my full video, definitely go watch that for the full tour and review of this thing. I'm going to take you on a quick walk around before we head off. This one's in this kind of like pearlescent metallic white color, which looks nice in different shades of lighting, which is pretty cool. They have a newer-ish style generation Subaru key fob, which is, well, I mean, it's been around for a while, but I think this new Impreza looks pretty slick. I really like this whole blacked out theme they're going. It really makes me want a new WRX hatchback, like really badly. They're so close. With these exclusive 18-inch black wheels here, full LED headlights now. They're all turning adaptive as well. Blacked out trim across the whole exterior. We have this cool RS badge, which actually has like these two horizontally opposed pistons in them to indicate this is a boxer engine under the hood. Blacked out mirror caps. Back here, we have a hatchback design, of course, with a newer style of their taillights. It's a funky looking shape back here, but not too bad. I'm thankful they didn't put a whole bunch of fake vents in this thing. And nonetheless, let's head inside. We have a black side sill as well. Over here, red seats with some bolstering on the sides. No leather seats anymore. You can't really get that on the Impreza, so it's only gonna be cloth. RS badges down here, as well as some aluminum plates, and that's pretty much all of the RS goodies in here, as well as the engine under the hood that's been a little bit upgraded. And well, let's head off. Putting this thing into drive is pretty simple, nothing too hard here. Just pop it into drive. Obviously you have a manual mode for your continuously variable transmission, as well as paddle shifters to control 8 pre-selected gear ratios, which actually work pretty well. Backup camera is terrible. No parking sensors even on this one, so you do have trajectory though, which is nice, and heading off is pretty easy. Now this one does have a sport and intelligent drive mode, so you can put into sport and just intelligent mode. And honestly, I've been driving a lot of Subarus over the years, and this is actually a fantastic system that Subaru has really improved over the years. And yes, it's just the sport system, like, oh, it can't be that crazy, but I remember driving early ones, and it was really touchy and stuff on the throttle pedal in the older generations of the sport mode, and I think they've really improved it now over time. And this one does have Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto as well on this infotainment system, so that's nice. And this is a pretty rough road over here, so I just got a quick feel for this newer suspension system. It's pretty well dampened and softened over like a lot of harsh bumps. Big kudos to Subaru kind of working on that, and that's also in part to this upgraded Subaru global platform we have here as well, which has really been kind of strengthened over the years. And this newer generation is actually, I believe, 10% stiffer than it was previously, so that's pretty nice. And I think that's a lot of learnings they've gotten from the new WRX platform as well. And this steering rack is actually from the WRX. We have a nice leather wrap steering wheel here with some red stitching around it, and it is crazy sharp actually, as you can just see right here. It is like razor sharp. A lot of like super good and feedback and feel from it, but the quickness and sharpness from it is really impressive. And like I said, it just makes me want to have a new Subaru WRX hatchback even more so. And they're just so close to doing it. All it needs is the turbocharged engine, throw in the super performance transmission, the CVT, maybe give it a manual, who knows. I think they would have a huge seller on their hands if they did that, though that's not in Subaru's cards right now, so unfortunately we're not gonna have that. Nonetheless, pretty good with the driving dynamics actually, so I'm impressed that Subaru's really fine-tuned this over the years. Very sharp, like I said, with that steering, and it's very well tuned, the chassis. You always feel very nicely planted on the road, which is fantastic. This person doesn't have their blinker on, and that's just a huge thanks to that Subaru global platform as well. Really nice stuff that Subaru's been doing that over the years. Check out some acceleration. You can see higher in the rev range. It does shift like a real automatic would, so it doesn't sit there and drone like your typical continuously variable transmission. And I think, and I'm gonna say this in a relative sense of terms, Subaru has my favorite continuously variable transmission out of any manufacturer. They've really fine-tuned this thing to the point where it just generally feels like an automatic now, and if you didn't know what a CVT was, you would never know in this car. It's that well tuned, and I think it's that good. Now, I will say, even though Subaru has improved their NVH, their noise, vibration, and harshness levels in this newer generation platform, they've even put some like sound insulation on the engine to kind of reduce some boxer sounds, which I honestly think is a little bit disappointing. I like the boxer sounds, but I guess not everyone likes that. And you still have a lot of noise coming in. So Subarus are known for their great visibility around you, huge windows, a lot of glass, but that glass is not kind of any kind of acoustic laminated or like dampened or quiet glass. So there's a lot of road noise and wind noise you could definitely hear on this cabin, which I guess you can get used to. This Harman Kardon optional audio system actually is not that bad. So that's a good way of canceling it out a little bit. Otherwise, you know, maybe something you need to deal with. A little bit of a test for some handling. Here, you have paddle shifters, some tire squeal, a Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive system. Wow, this thing's sharp. And the shifts, they've definitely gotten some it's got a lot of grip, this thing, actually. I'm impressed. And they've definitely taken some learnings from their Subaru Performance transmission on this car, which is the high performance version of Subaru's continuous variable transmission, the WRX, because this thing's quick. When you kind of put it in those pre-selected gear ratios when you're using the paddle shifters, it upshifts and downshifts pretty quickly, which is kind of cool. And it actually gives you some physical feedback too. Like, it almost feels like you're actually shifting in gear, even though there aren't gears. You're just changing the ratio of that band in this continuously variable transmission, which is pretty cool. Nonetheless, though, like I said, this is a wonderful just commuter car. It's nothing of a high performance vehicle, and the whole RS badge was never meant to actually be kind of a high performance vehicle. When it came out back in 1998, that car only had like 165-ish horsepower. It wasn't anything crazy, and even that was like a little minor change. So I think they've actually stayed true to that power increase and that just like that general sporty enhancement over the regular Impreza, and not making it an all-out WRX, for example. And I think they've aced that pretty well. Let's just take a quick look at Subaru's eyesight system. It's really simple and turn on. Thankfully, all the buttons are located right on the steering wheel for you. So all you have to do is press this button right here. You have this little extra display that will pop up showing your vehicle, as well as kind of like the surrounding stuff that eyesight's seeing. And you just pop it into your speed. You can turn on and off your steering assist right here with this button, and just quickly adjust your speeds right there, and that's it. And it's up and going. It does do stop and go, so if there is traffic up ahead, you're in stop and go traffic, or it comes to a light, it will completely stop the vehicle, put the automatic vehicle hold brake on, and to continue going right back into your set speed, all you do is just press this button up, or you can just tap the accelerator and it'll just continue back into the eyesight operation, which I think is fantastic. Let me just make sure auto vehicle hold is on, because you do have to turn that on and off. And of course, you do have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. This is not a more advanced driving system. It's just really an assistance system. And I think that's one comment I'll have on Subaru's eyesight. It's really more of an assistance system. If you're looking at something like Hyundai Kia's Highway Driver Assist, that is too legally an assistance system, but they really will let you, which I don't think is super safe, but you can drive a little bit without having your hands on the wheel and it beeping at you. This is like just a few seconds and it'll start yelling at you to put your hands back on the wheel, which I think is technically a good thing. But I'm just saying, in relative terms, that system's pretty good. And in some scenarios, as you saw right there, if you take control, or if there's a weird indent in the road and the cameras can't really pick out the lanes, it's going to turn off that steering, so it'll just take a little bit to reactivate it again. And yeah, it's pretty easy to use. If you want to change your following distance, you have these buttons right here. Nothing too difficult there. And that's pretty much it. And you know, like I said, this is a good just cruising vehicle, and especially on the highway with that extra power, you don't feel like the engine's pushing itself or straining itself like I have felt in that regular 2-liter flat four with around 150-ish horsepower. I have felt at some higher passing speeds, or if I'm trying to overtake someone, you're really revving that thing out to, you know, to get all that power out of it. This one, I don't feel that as much. That little extra displacement, that little extra power, I think it's just a better general vehicle. And honestly, this car should just come with that engine standard and not even have that 2-liter anymore. But it is still an option, obviously, and an entry-level option for the most buyers on the market. Nonetheless, guys, this has been a pretty fun week with the Impreza RS. Like I said, really fun, just general everyday driving dynamics, which I think is where this thing shines really. If you're going into this thing thinking it's a sports car, or if it's like any type of like high performance hot hatch, you're gonna be a little disappointed, because it's not what that is, and it's not trying to be that really either. It's just a little bit more power, really sharper and more fine-tuned driving dynamics for your daily drive around town, or going to and from work, or on short road trips. And I think that's really where it shines the best. Anyways, thank you guys for watching yet another one of my videos, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more coming from Allcarnews. Cheers.